Hi, I've come to talk to you about these times. It's truly an amazing time to be alive. The energy is rising on the planet and we are rising in consciousness. You may have noticed that things that used to bother you, like environmental destruction and governmental control in some areas that just seem where our human rights aren't being honored fully, it's bothering you more because you're beginning to feel more strongly about doing the right thing. You're beginning to feel more strongly about leaving a beautiful world for your children. You've always felt those things, but now you can't help yourself. Your authenticity, that natural uprising of truth from within your soul, is screaming to be heard. And we are creating a new planet. So why does it look so dark out there? Why is there so much crazy stuff going on? Well, the reason is because through the law of entrainment, as the darkness starts, as the consciousness of the planet rises more, the darkness has to come out, the shadows have to come out. And that looks like all of a sudden we're seeing things we didn't see before. These things were always there, but more hidden. And now the planet, the consciousness is rising and it can't stay hidden anymore. This is the Great Awakening. This is an incredible time to be alive. And most of us are here because we wanted to be here now. Does that make it an easy time? No. Does that make it a beautiful time? Maybe down the road, but right now, we're going to have to do a lot of deep breathing. We're going to have to go within and find silence and learn to become our own best friends. Above all, we have to be authentic. We have to stand up for what's right. There's a lot of silencing right now, silencing of scientists, of medical professionals that are saying, no, what they're doing is not necessarily right. The health authorities. There's a lot of doctors that are losing their licenses to speaking out. There's a lot of doctors afraid to do so. There's a lot of scientists speaking out. And what happens is immediately they're set upon and vilified on the mainstream media or taken down or their platforms are removed. You should be feeling uncomfortable about all this stuff. I don't care what side of the debates you're on. We are all sisters and brothers, and we are going to bring in a beautiful new world together. Fighting each other, we can't. It doesn't matter if you're on one side of the political debate or the other, or you're apolitical. What matters is that we work together, that we hold each other's hands. We've been actually programmed our entire lives to obey authority, to be polite, to be kind, to not say something that might make other people feel uncomfortable, but we can no longer afford to do that. We have to be true to ourselves. They're starting to roll out some medical procedures right now, which are experimental. And experimental procedures are not always the safest. I'm definitely pro-vax. I've seen vaccine can do a lot of good, but it can also do a lot of harm. So we need to research this. And you're not going to find out about a lot of stuff on the mainstream news or on Google or on Facebook. It's so censored now. Go to BitChute. Try some of these other sites that are not censored, because we need to know what's going on. And we need to join together and hold each other's hands and rise up. It's truly worth our taking the time now to be the best we can be, to hold each other's hands and come together and say, no, enough. Parents are gathering, their children are getting sick from wearing masks at school. We need to find out, we need to know both sides of the debate in order to make a healthy choice. And we cannot do that with one health authority's opinions. We need them all. So let's love each other. Let's not spend our time on Facebook hating on each other because we voted someone in that we don't like, or because you're speaking out about something. We have to be aware that when we read something and it triggers something within us that doesn't feel very comfortable, that could be cognitive dissonance, because our minds cannot hold two opposing ideas at the same time without feeling really uncomfortable. That's why most of us choose to numb out a bit, or to stick with what feels safe, right? Let's trust the government. Let's hope they're doing the right thing for us. But let's look at history. It's always been the people that have risen up together. Very rarely, when things have started to get out of control and started to look communist or somewhat totalitarian or fascist, it's time to be aware for our children, for our future. We will be bringing in a beautiful new world, and we'll be doing it together, not with the politicians. I mean, it would be nice to believe that someone's a savior out there, but I believe we are our own saviors, and many people are starting to see that. We've gone down the political rabbit holes too many times. We've just done a huge political change, and is it better? Look at some of the executive orders that have just been released in the last little while. Let's bring in that beautiful new world. That means standing up for our rights. It does not mean rioting in the streets, but it could mean standing up and protesting. It definitely means saying, no, not on my watch. Will you vaccinate my child until it's proven safe? Protect your children. Protect yourself. There's already been a lot of vaccine injuries, and Big Pharma is not being held responsible for any of the injuries with this experimental vaccine. So please be careful. I care about you all. And we're going to need some things like yoga and meditation and mindfulness, breath work, therapy, support networks, whatever, to get through. Numbing out won't do it. If we numb out, we're not going to have the courage to stand up to do what's right. And I don't need to tell you what that is. You will know in your heart. You have all the wisdom within. Your higher self is screaming at you all the time. Actually, it's not screaming. It's more of a soft voice. It's the ego that screams. So we need to be able to learn the difference. And the best way to that is through finding presence, taking time for mindfulness, and focusing on the breath and finding silence, so that when thoughts arise that are distressing, old patterns, we see them and we're making wiser decisions instead of automatically acting on those old patterns. You're so beautiful, every single one of you. If you knew how beautiful you were, you would fall at your feet. All this suffering we're going through right now will make us better and wiser and stronger. We have to trust. And give someone a hug. Please, some of the things that are being suggested are just not wise. They're not what the scientists are saying. Our bodies have held viruses Always. We're made of viruses. We do not need to be so afraid. If you could just get off the mainstream and do some research, it may help. And as the darkness starts to rise, let's remember that people that are doing nefarious acts or things that we just don't understand, they would not be doing those things without themselves having been traumatized and wounded. It's just what people do if they haven't healed their trauma. So we all have to heal right now. We all have to come together and do our work. And it will become easier now because the consciousness is rising on the planet. The energy is right for healing work. So get out in nature, take some deep breaths, do some journaling. Find the method that works for you to relieve stress. And band together. Let's not critique each other. We are rising into a higher consciousness where there's no such thing as infighting. There's no such thing as criticizing a person who disagrees with us. Everybody has their truth. We might be scared for them because they're on a different truth line than we are. And it's okay to tell them that. It's okay to say, you know, I feel anxious, I'm scared by some of the decisions you're making. That is authentic. That is real. Instead of yelling or arguing or making somebody wrong or criticizing them. We see so much of that on social media right now. We really need to move past it. So with that, I'm just going to close for today. I just really had to get on here because I've been feeling very triggered myself this weekend, hearing what's going on with people that are flying in from other countries and how they're being treated. Human rights are not being respected. And it's time that we start standing up for what's right, writing letters, researching, are these masks really needed? Are they helping our health? Get your vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, selenium, quercetin. These are really important vitamins right now. Most of the people found that had the most serious COVID reactions had very low stores of vitamin D, and we're not getting enough from the sun. So get your vitamin D. It's cheap and it's take at least 5,000 a day. If you're low on it, maybe 7,000 a day for a while. 7,000 IU. Sounds like a lot, but it's just tiny little pills. Anyway, I love you guys. We're banding together. We are doing this. This is how we rise in consciousness, through loving each other, through coming together and being the best friends and the sisters and brothers that we're meant to be. Thanks for listening. And I look forward to chatting with you again. Let's bring in this beautiful new world. Thanks for listening. Bye.